Good afternoon. My name is Caverzagie. I'm the Associate Dean for Educational Strategy at the College of Medicine, and here I'm just reflecting a couple of the things that we're working on within the College of Medicine. I only have 2 slides, so not going to be going too very deep into things necessarily, but really what I wanted to try to do is reflect upon what the College of Medicine is working on, particularly around the curriculum committee. Really thinking about our curriculum redesign and what it is we can do to really adjust so that we better prepare physicians for the workforce that Nebraska needs, as well as our health delivery system into the future as well. The first slide is to describe, and this is effectively, I think, where Dr. Gold was describing in some of his opening remarks. Looking at our traditional way of doing at least medical education has always focused starting upon the curriculum. We have our curriculum and we define objectives to define that curriculum, and we assess whether or not you met the curricular objectives. And that's that historical time-based or traditional model of at least medical education. On the bottom half of the screen, I think has been very influential for me, and I think actually just kind of illustrates the direction with which the College of Medicine is moving, where we're focused on a competency-based education model. I'll ask you to focus on the center box there that says competencies or outcomes. Depending upon what language we're using, they're effectively the same thing. What I refer to it as is, what do I want my trainee to be able to do? What is the outcome I expect of my trainee to be able to do? And extending from that, and from that is the curriculum. I have to design a curriculum that supports my trainee meeting those particular outcomes. And then beyond that, if you go down, I'm not assessing whether or not they met my curriculum. I need to assess whether or not they met the intended outcome. And then finally, those outcomes can't be what's important to me. Those outcomes should reflect what the needs of the future health delivery system are. Whether that be the needs for Omaha, whether that be the needs for the state of Nebraska, whether that be the needs for our nation. So this is kind of just a framework with which I think we're accomplishing some of our work. This is a pictograph, if you will, that I think tries to capture everything that we're doing on one picture. So the yellow part, and if you look on the bottom, it says content of curriculum. Does the curriculum content and structure support the intended outcomes? That is really weird. Effectively what we're asking ourselves, so in May we had a curricular retreat to where we had the curriculum committee and extended faculty actually help to define what are those outcomes, what do we expect our medical students to be able to do. And then what we want to try to do from that is to go vertical and horizontal and ask ourselves, does our curriculum match or meet those intended outcomes? When we look across the 4 years and we look at each necessarily curricula itself, at each syllabus itself, are they integrated? Are they actually moving in the direction that they want to be able to go? And we need to do that through a course, over the course of a core, over the course of a year, when we split it to preclinical and clinical years, when we include our ancillary cores such as integrated clinical experience and PBL, all of those things need to necessarily be integrated. So go to the top, so look at the blue box where the intersect between the curriculum and the assessment. We can't just define our curriculum, we actually then need to assess our curriculum. Does the curriculum prepare our residents for prepare our students for entering into residency? In other words, do the students achieve the outcome that we expect? Is our outcomes achieving what we want them to be able to expect? Is it effective, efficient, and most importantly, is it evolving? Something that we as educators get really comfortable doing is comfortable teaching one thing, and then what can we do to actually, is that evolving? Is that changing with time? And then finally, the red part is the assessment of the trainees. Do the trainees actually achieve the intended outcome? Go back to that first slide. We don't want to assess whether the trainees meet our curriculum. We want to know, do the trainees meet the intended outcome? And by focusing on that, we can drive feedback. Some of the innovative things that we're doing is in our clinical rotations, our core clinical rotations have redefined the core of the assessment. What does that look like? We're actually asking our faculty, rather than being superior versus above average, we're actually asking them, can they do the expected skills of a medical student that we as a College of Medicine define for medical students across the rotations. So this kind of highlights, in a general sense, some of the work that we're doing and some of the work that the curriculum committee is embarking upon in really breaking it down into multiple different areas. The workflow, incidentally, the workflow part is probably nonsensical. That's just a way for us to think about how we're going about our work, but there's no real magic to that. And that's all that I had.